Michael would have cracked up. That was on Periscope. I did like a character basically, and it was really funny.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Bring on the dude, Melanie. One day, one day.
So, I would love to discuss how you keep the energy to do what you do because broadcasting requires a lot of energy.
Hmm.
And you amaze me. Like when you told me you did this for 6 years, I was like, wow, wow.
I always say you do what you want to do.
Okay.
When you don't do something, it's because you don't really want to do it. People say, "Oh, you're procrastinating." It's not that you're procrastinating; it's you don't really
Hmm.
want to do it.
Yeah.
Or you're
Um,
lazy. No, it's not you're lazy; it's you don't want to do it.
so I disagree. I think some people, we talked about this earlier, is that they're afraid of everything.
Well, yeah, that's another issue too. Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
Like if they knew they would be embraced well, like if they knew they could come on and shine and people wouldn't judge them, they might be okay.
Mm,
And I'm hoping that you can inspire some of your Christians to broadcast. Start today
I try, man.
and on Haps,
Yeah.
right?
Do I guys or do I not say that? Please, please broadcast because I don't know stuff that you know, and I want to know what you know because I don't know it.
Right. And you're not going to be here forever. And I mean, in this form, like we all transition.
Mm-hmm. Yep, true. That's
Yeah.
true.
I have a weird shirt on. Here, I'll show you.
Oh, cool.
Don't hate, meditate.
Meditate.
Yeah. There you go. But
Melanie said, "You talking to me? You
you
talking to
talking to
me?"
me? What kind of fool are you? That book is nutty. I was like, is this a
Yeah,
joke? What is this?
yeah.
So that
I
was the
think it's
nicest
definitely
way.
geared towards kids.
Yeah. It's made for kids? Is that what you said?
It's got to be because a lot of them are school. Well, if in school, this, that, and the
Mm-hmm.
other, um, and they just sound dumb. But would you rather eat a live snail or a dead bumblebee? Would you rather have peacock feathers or
Mm,
tiger striped skin? I'm just picking at random.
yeah.
Would you rather
So
run 10 miles with an ingrown toenail or walk barefoot for 20 miles on gravel roads? It's just the
di-
weirdest questions.
is this out of bounds if we talk about COVID a little bit, as long as I keep it in the rails?
Why not?
No, I don't know. Everybody has their trigger, right? Yeah, I can't say trigger with Edward, by the way. I had a 30-minute speech one time about trigger. Trigger's only on a gun or something. I can't remember. It was pretty weird. But
So trigger is his trigger.
yeah, so in Canada, because
Amen.
I'm only going to use Canada because that's what I know, and I'm
Oh,
not going to make up
Canada.
any. Yes. So we have a lot of people that are long haulers. Have you ever heard of that? Where they never
I must
fully
have.
get over it.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I just heard that the other day. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of nurses are long haulers, and what that means is you're kind of sick,
Mm,
you kind of have a fever, your
mm,
chest kind of hurts, you're kind of in a fog all the time.
mm,
Part of me thinks, is it just burnout? And then I watched a show about it, and there was women that were nurses and that, and their hands were swelling and they were red, and their feet were swelling and red. And
mm.
I think there's going to be more damage done by getting it over and over again, like a slow, like a blister that never heals. I think that's the nicest way of saying it for certain individuals. And then
And
they've had to,
I would assume since they're in the medical field that they've been vaccinated too.
oh, of course, right away, but they still get it. Like people don't realize you get vaccinated, you still can get it. It's a very small percentage.
Right. But I'm going to be conspiracy theorist now. Are
What's that?
they are they sick really because of COVID or are they sick because of the vaccine?
Um, I know that it's not because of the vaccine in most cases, because it's even some of the nurses that they tested who refused to get the vaccine had the same symptoms.
Okay.
So, and there's children. that are getting COVID feet, and they call it COVID toes, and they're purple and they're swollen. And there's
Wow.
been, really rare cases where some doctors have had swelling of the brain,
Wow.
and one person went actually into a coma for a little while, couldn't speak, and now is speaking when the swelling went down. So it's like everything is new. We don't know. We're in the infancy of this. And then when you have guys like Bill Gates saying 10 years ago that this was coming, and he's recently saying this is the warm up.
Mm-hmm.
He said, so get ready. And the
Yeah.
best way to do that is get in the best shape of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get thin, get healthy, because, the
Yeah.
vaccine's great, but be healthy. And that scared me so bad. I lost 35 pounds because I got COVID at the beginning. And I
Oh,
think
did
I
you?
got COVID light. Like what's out there now, that's not COVID light. I had a fever, I had the sore throat, I had fluid in my lungs, I was spitting out mucus, I was grumpy.
Did you have the no smell and no taste thing too?
No, thank God. And you know what that's from?
What?
They've actually figured it out, finally. There's receptors in your nose, right? And COVID, what it did was it thought it was the virus.
Hmm.
So it started attacking these receptors, and in other words, got rid of them. And
Mm-hmm.
some people now, things that should taste good don't taste good. Everything tastes like paste, I guess. Oh, that would break my heart, man. I
Yeah.
love food.
Mm. That was stink.
So, and I guess the same thing happens when you're in space. So they
Hmm.
have to put hot sauce in everything because everything tastes like paste. And there's
Oh, I didn't
something
know.
about not having gravity that affects these
Wow.
receptors. Yeah.
Didn't know.
And all the astronauts said the food tastes like shit. It doesn't matter if it's in a tube or not. They
Wow. Never
said
knew
you
that.
can't taste anything.
Huh.
Yeah. All these things you
Interesting.
can look up. Anything I say. And sometimes too, when if people think it's crazy, I'll show them articles of stuff. But they asked them, they said, what did you miss the most? And they said the food. We missed food the most. And a lot of them, the second close second was their family, but they didn't anticipate, especially the first few. And the strange thing is, some people slightly lost their taste, and other people fully lost their taste.
Yeah.
Um,
I
so
see
I don't want to
Cheryl.
freak people out, but Bill Gates
Mhm.
was correct the first time,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he said
Cheryl said she
he's.
was one.
I'm sorry.
Cheryl on YouTube, her comment, I was a long hauler. I was sick for 6.5 months, no V.
Yeah,
Doctor was so mean because I didn't have the V. That was during the summer, still not back to normal. Yeah, I've definitely heard that.
but,
People
but you're
feel like,
never the same.
yeah.
I'm
Some,
serious.
some
Some
people
people
are
are.
some people are like a little bit better or a lot better
Yeah,
or but not totally better.
yeah. And if this
But
gets boring, just tell us, because him and I could talk here for 3 days, and we would, you know.
man,
But
this is all set up. It's
you
just a
think
lot
this
of
is all
suspects.
in what way?
There's a lot of things that are suspects.
Well, can I give you another view of it, if it's okay?
Sure.
Just something to think about.
Hmm.
They've been playing with viruses forever,
Yeah.
forever. And I think
Hmm.
what happened is one slipped out. That that's as simple as it is. Like if you play with fire all day, sooner or later you're going to burn the tips of your fingers or your eyebrows or your hair. I'll
Yeah.
sparkle something. I think that's all that happened.
I
They're
agree.
saying so. Here's the thing that drove me crazy. I got COVID before they knew COVID was around, about a
Hmm.
month or two before.
Hmm.
And they were like, oh, you couldn't have got COVID because COVID started then. And I was like, oh, God, man, come on. It's every symptom. I don't
Yeah.
get sick. I haven't, I got the vaccine, okay? I have not been to the doctor in 17, 18 years. I don't get sick.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
I,
like? I'm intense. I have this energy. It's not normal.
yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah. and I don't need it. I feel like I'm protected by something greater than myself. Let's call it that. You do you feel the same way?
I mean, I also do everything I possibly can to stay healthy too. I take if I showed you how many vitamins I take, you'd be like, "Yo, you look like a drug dealer right now." But yeah, I mean, I try to stay healthy, and I research and I listen to people. And there's just one guy, we all call him Uncle Cliff, Cliff High, and
Yeah.
this dude is like he's like a genius, and he does like searches throughout the whole lab, and he's predicted stuff that's absolutely. How did you know it was going to happen? And he started talking about COVID before the news started talking about COVID. And he's like, make sure you take vitamin D, vitamin C, and
Yeah.
zinc, and chaga tea. I just found chaga
Yes.
pills.
Yeah. You're right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, this guy, he knew way ahead of everybody else. But I had
So.
friends too that in January and February, they were
Mhm.
like, I was sick as a dog. I bet you I had COVID. And I'm like, you probably did.
That's right. So what they did is for the longest time they pretended that it wasn't around,
Hmm.
and even I think they should have shut it down about 3 months earlier, honestly. But that's okay. Hindsight is 2020. Here's the thing though.
Yeah.
They were like, no. The first case was this, so it couldn't have been what you had. You had the flu. You had this. Then what they did is they did time signatures at the hospitals a year behind, and they noticed a spike. So they had done basically a graph of, okay, let's pretend the year was 2018, and let's say on this date there was 200 people in the driveway in the ER, and then 2019 there was 575, but every year prior to that it was 180 to 210. And they started realizing too by looking at the Google searches, they were all looking up symptoms, fever. What's that?
Nancy was saying K2. Yes, if you take a high amount of vitamin D, you have to take K2 with it because it prevents your too much vitamin D can also be bad and harden your arteries. So K2 fights that. I actually have right here in my vitamin drawer.
Yeah.
I got this on Amazon. So it's D3 and K2 already.
Ah,
It's like
perfect.
300 pills in there.
So you're doing preventive medicine already. You're
Yeah.
being proactive.
Yeah. I've always been this way though.
Do you want to end the broadcast? I'm going to go get a coffee. If you want to talk a few
I'm
minutes, we
good.
can.
No, I'm good.
You always say you're good, though. It's
No, I don't have anything to do, so
yeah. So I could say to you, Rick, your hoodie's on fire. No, no, I'm good, man. I'm good. No, no.
it's all right.
Your back
Yeah.
wall, Rick, is on fire. I'm good, Michael. I got it. We're good. We're good for a couple more minutes. Don't you worry. I got a bottle of water here. I got a
Yeah.
plan.
I'm good.
So they frown upon you doing broadcasts when you're at work. Is that what you're saying
Oh
earlier?
my god. If you knew that, oh my god, I would get yelled at so bad. Are you kidding me?
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, the places I work, if I don't get results, then I get yelled at.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the logic. As long as you get the results, almost to a fault.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
He's kind of like that too, but yeah, like in the beginning, I think he's a little bit lax now. Little he's eased up.
hmm
The company used to be in my state of Connecticut. He moved the whole
Yeah.
thing to Florida, but I stayed here. But when I first started, you couldn't even play the radio. You were like, no, 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 you got to work. You can't listen to. You can't have the radio in the background. But
hmm
now when I call them, I hear the radio with some people. So I'm like, okay, so he's eased up on that at least.
I used to work for a private store, like a retail store, when I was younger, and
Hmm.
this guy was, as long as the profits were good, he treated us well. When things weren't good, oh God. So I
Hmm.
remember with him, his big thing was, we do well, we play well.
Hmm.
We don't do well, there's no play. So work
Yeah.
hard so we can play. And he became a very, very wealthy man. And it was an independent dollar store.
Oh, okay.
And he ended up having like 18 of them. And then one of the big conglomerates came and bought everything. And he became
Nice.
filthy rich by walking away.
I
But
imagine. Yeah.
if you notice now, everything here in Canada, I don't know what's like in the States or wherever people are watching this from, Everything seems to have gone up 20%.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Would you agree with that? People in the
Yeah. We've talked about it. Yeah, everything's more expensive. It's great. Gas, especially the car for gas. Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
See, when I used to live in Sarnia, which is a border town where Port Huron, there's like Port Huron. Port Huron is part of Detroit, like area. Michigan, I guess, is the best way to say it. And, there's like 800 meters of water in between. And you
Okay.
could drive across that 800 meters of water and your gas was a third. And I always
Mm.
thought, how is that?
Yeah.
And this is when I was younger, not knowing that 90% of what we were paying for was taxes. Same with beer. But
Yeah.
we also have health care.
Hmm.
Yeah. If you
When I
could
went
live
to
in, if you could live anywhere else besides where you live, let's say you had the means to go and move anywhere in the world, where would it be? Besides where you live.
I've actually talked about that all the time in here too, and I not too long ago went to Texas, and I actually loved it.
Oh, I love Texas. I love
Yeah.
Texas. It's so
My
weird you
son
say.
wants to go to Florida. He keeps saying, "No, Dad, go to Florida," because that's where he eventually wants to go. And I'm like, "I've
Yeah.
been to Florida, so Florida's okay, but I really like
What do
Texas."
you like about Texas? Here, hold that. I'll be right back. I'm going to get a coffee.
Yeah,
All right.
no
Talk to
problem.
your people.
Yeah. Da, 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 da. Just kidding. Who is still here, by the way? Who's still in the room? Who's still watching? I have no idea. Unless you type a comment, I have no idea. But well, what do you guys think? Like, if money's no issue and you could live anywhere you want, Azores. Yeah, that's my mama hometown. My daddy hometown. The Azores, Ireland. Why y'all talking about COVID? Michael brought it up. You live in California. Yeah. And Cheryl says me. But yeah, if money was no issue at all, or the Philippines, okay. My brother's girlfriend, her family's from the Philippines. I think she might have been born there. Not 100% sure. I could be wrong about that. If you're watching, let me know. I forgot. I'm sorry. I love you. Um, but yeah, yeah. I'd never been to California, but I loved Texas. I had a really good time there. I really enjoyed it. Stay here in Florida. Yeah, Florida's cool. Florida's cool. Um, if I had never went to Texas, I probably would have been like, yeah, Florida's cool. Florida's cool. But then I went to Texas, and I'm like, oh man, I just like the atmosphere. I don't know. You live in Texas? Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, you like it? You don't like it. What don't you like about it? What don't you like about it? And where else is better that Texas does not have that you liked better in the other place? But yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, and Texas is huge too, so I guess it depends on where you go, right? It's a huge state, so you can't just say I hate Texas when you only been to one part. Today's a gift.
Yes.
That is true. And there's a
Yes,
Christian saying that says tomorrow is not
Exactly.
promised.
Why are we?
exactly. Why did what?
Oh, I hear myself twice. Not anymore. Good. It's gone. Okay.
Oh, should
It's
I put
gone
my
now.
headphones on? Okay, I'll get my headphones anyway. Nothing
It's
compared to
fine now.
Chicago.
I don't know what the draw is. Is it Elon Musk? He's drawing us in. He's going. I hear there's freedoms there, and
Yeah,
it's a fun city. There's a lot of growth there.
or
Um,
state.
yeah. So it's a huge state actually, right? It's massive.
As opposed to provinces in Canada.
Yes, let's not go there. But the thing with you guys is every state is like a different country.
Yeah, you're right.
They're dramatically different. I didn't understand that. Where Canada, we're really rigid. We're
Mm.
like, this is what you do, and the only place where it isn't rigid is Quebec, and Quebec has
Okay.
always acted like we started this. So I don't know if you know this, but in Canada, the very first colonies were in Quebec, unless you go to the indigenous, right?
Oh, okay. Hey, James.
What? Oh, I'll tell you. There's this guy. His name's James Namaste, I think.
Yeah?
Something. Yeah, and good
Really?
guy, but he's a
Yeah?
little obsessed with nudity. I think he likes to
Oh.
sweat and do workouts.
Ooh.
You ever heard of him?
It rings a slight bell, I think. Yeah.
A good guy. He'd be a guy that I would invite out, but I don't know if your people can handle it.
Yeah. Is he busy? I don't know if he's busy or not. I don't know.
I don't know. It depends on how sweaty he is.
Now, I would say also though that a big thing in Canada too is English or French.
Not as much as you think.
Not as much because I've had customers call and they're like, "Hello, do you speak French?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah. Now, if you go to Montreal, you better know French
Yeah.
because they'll snub you. And if you're in Quebec, they know English, and they go,
And that's another thing too. You said they'll snub you. I could be wrong, but I
"Yes,
feel like they're a little bit, I don't know, uppity. I don't know what's a good word to say, but
I have a
have
great
faith. I
word. You
love it.
ready? Pompous.
Yes.
Pompous. They are very
A little bit.
pompous.
A little bit. And I'm like, why?
Upper brow.
Ah, okay.
So I'll tell you a really, I almost said something bad. I stopped myself. There's the brakes.
All the
Um,
Christians had a heart attack. Oh!
no, but I'm trying to be respectfully of you.
Ah, thanks.
Quebec, they're stubborn, and they know that there's floodplain where they've had houses before, and they
Hmm.
keep rebuilding them. And the government has finally said, no, your house has floated away 3 times in the last 10 years. We are
Oh
not
my
letting you
gosh.
build it again. We're
Wow.
not going to give you insurance. It's not happening.
Wow.
And they are so pompous that they believe now that the government owes them another piece of land that doesn't require restrictions because of the water. Now, Quebec is massive. If you ever look at it on a map, it is insanely massive. There's a man named James Namaste. Yes, we shall pray for him before he comes in. Um, yeah, hello, my
It's getting
friend.
a little hot in here. I gotta take my robe off.
Yeah,
Oh
Sorry.
yeah,
gosh.
yeah. How you doing, Jay? Oh,
What's
sorry.
up?
Oh, sorry.
I'm surprised Michael didn't start singing. It's getting hot in here.
Yeah, so take off all your clothes. Yeah, no. Um, yeah, I think the other thing though is you have to have your headset on as well. You
Is
know,
this
the
better?
big
Can you hear me
honking head.
better?
I hear you.
Good.
Yeah, I hear you.
You gonna show us your fish tanks? Let's.
Is that code word for something else?
No.
Oh God.
He
Oh
he
my.
he.
Oh
Oh
my.
my. Oh
Oh
my.
my.
Oh my.
Do you know
He
Val was doing that in the broadcast this morning? It was cracking me up. She kept going, "Oh my."
Oh my. So when I first met him, he was telling all these people that he had these beautiful fish tanks with exotic fish in them. And then I noticed he went from room to room, and the fish
I
tanks
have
were
one in every room.
identical. And they were
No,
identical.
they
And
were different. I had different ones.
no,
I had
one time I
tropical,
noticed
saltwater.
the pattern was the same, and I went, "It's a freaking TV."
Is it desktop background?
But
Yeah.
it looked so real the way he did it. You thought, "Wow, this
That's
guy's got
funny.
big bank. Look what he's doing. He's got these fish."
No, that's what I thought about Colin in the beginning when I first saw Colin. He
Yes,
had a massive television in the background. It looked like an 80-inch television, maybe a
yes,
100-inch television.
yes.
And then,
Wow.
beyond to me, he was just running OBS. It
Well,
was
and
OBS the whole time.
he also had a villa
Wow.
every week, a new villa you lived in.
Yeah, he was in a different living room every
He was
time.
like James Bond,
That's
and
funny.
everyone was more beautiful
He wore
than
the
the other.
black shirt with long sleeves, and he had a cigar, and he was
Yeah,
like, I used to call him the coolest cat of hats. He still is kind
yeah.
of the coolest cat of hats.
Rick, would you be open to doing a broadcast where we all wear our robes? What do you think?
I don't think I have a robe,
Oh, okay. All right.
but you could wear a robe.
I thought we could have like a pipe,
I don't have the pipe either.
What are you doing? Are you cleaning your screen there, sir?
You know, they
Wax on,
still,
wax off.
yeah, right.
Yeah, pretty
They
much.
still sell cork pipes at Walgreens. Do you know that?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw that.
Yeah, you would have been a really good magician. You know, put the focus over here, put the focus over there, put the focus over
Who?
here.
Rick?
Who? Who me? Who?
Who? Rick? Rick would be a good magician.
Yes, yes, exactly. I think he's the only stable one in this broadcast.
But you know what? That's actually Rick. What? No, Rick. You got me saying Rick. No, JB was talking to Colin,
Mm-hmm.
inquiring about OBS,
Mm-hmm.
and then he was saying how he can like do a magician show like pulling a rabbit out of a hat because you know how you can like play with the different layers in the
Yeah,
background,
yeah.
you know, and you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of do a whole thing. You know, here I'm gonna reverse my camera for a second.
Yeah, if you're creative, you can definitely do a lot with OBS for sure.
So if you can see a screen there, you can see him jumping over the
Oh,
flames.
there's the
Yes,
fish.
there's this
There
fish.
they
Isn't
Isn't that
that
are.
nice?
beautiful?
Isn't that
Wow.
nice?
Yeah, they seem to be on an angle.
Do they have names?
They do.
Um, Wilbur, the big one is Michael, and then
Yes.
the little.
Well played. That
The
was a
skinny
three
one is
pointer. That was
the
a three
skinny one's
pointer.
James. James Jr. is the skinny one.
No, James is the skinny one that eats everybody in the tank, and there's only James left.
The beta fish.
Yeah. Go.
I always
I.
felt bad for that. Like,
You
why
mean
would
I
you?
had
I mean,
neighbors?
you buy a beta fish and it's all by its lonesome and it just sits there by
Yeah.
itself. Like, what's up with that? Whoever thought that was a good idea?
And
It's
now
because
they,
they'll eat the other fish. It's like, get a bigger tank. I don't know. It just seems weird.
I could see if you were a beta fish, you're going, look, I'm ready for new neighbors.
Yeah, right. I need more
Yes,
neighbors.
I need more neighbors. I'm
Right.
bored.
I think
Do you
he's
know?
named wrong though because it should be called Alpha, right?
Yeah,
Alpha, like
exactly.
alpha male. I think they
Hmm.
named him wrong.
Do you know that when I grew up and I was, uh, well, my parents moved from Chicago. I grew up in Chicago,
Hi, Mel.
and then we moved to the
Oh, Mel
suburb of.
subscribed. Yay, thank you, Mel. Sorry.
Mel's here. Hi, Mel.
Yeah,
Well,
she is the
anyways,
nicest person in the world. Would you
she
agree?
is.
She
My
is.
Oh,
dad
If
had 11 fish tanks,
yeah.
all operating in the
wow.
basement. Like there was it was kind of a split ranch. So, and it was so trippy. It was like, especially if you were tripping.
Yeah.
So Rick, I have to warn you about something. One of the complaints that we get is it's a very elite club that James and I are in, and only certain
Okay.
individuals are ever allowed. So
Well,
I think you've entered into that
we'll have to teach him a
select.
handshake, the special handshake that we have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
just
feel
don't.
honored.
Yeah, don't be near a fish tank though while you do it. That's good.
Your dad had 11 fish tanks. My dad had 11 dogs
Oh wow,
at once.
wow, wow!
That's crazy.
Just
Hey,
read an
Mel.
article that this family had 7 Bernese. What are those big dogs? Those big fluffy dogs? Bernese something. Um,
Bernese Mountain Dog.
Mountain dogs, I think. Yeah, they're massive. They're like
Yeah,
they're as big as us. Like and 7
they're
of them.
big. I think they're
Yeah.
bigger
They're
than
big.
you actually.
Yeah, they're big. They're
They're
huge.
big.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
definitely.
Wow.
So
How do you
do you want
walk all
to?
those dogs?
I know. You
I
gotta have
have
a
a
fenced-in
question.
yard.
Do you think males that are Christians get facials? Do you think that that's common?
I'm not a Christian.
I mean, you're not getting it.
No, he's asking if you think Christians are. No, I
Don't
have a
say what I'm a
friend.
Christian. I'm not a Christian. Why are you assuming that I'm a Christian,
Don't
Michael?
tell me my beliefs! You
My
better show your
God,
dang face.
I will be
yes.
whoever I want to be, and you'll like it anyways. What does it say? Trust more in the direction of your
Just
Greatest.
move in the
your
direction of your
oh,
greatest
oh
passions.
just move in the direction of your
Greatest passions.
greatest
And when you
passion.
can, wear a beautiful robe.
Wow, did you see what
That's what I
Captain
said.
Rehab just see what Captain Rehab just said?
What
He's
do you say?
subscribed to you too.
Yeah.
See? You can subscribe if you want to. You can leave your cares behind, right?
So apparently
What did he say?
I'm his uncle and Michael's his uncle, but he says Michael likes to douse himself in maple syrup and sing pour some sugar on me.
I do. He's right.
So, Rick, are you familiar with Captain Rehab?
Oh God. It's a Christian show, buddy. Keep it
I
clean.
know. I'm just saying. Have
Not
you seen him
yet.
around the block before? Not yet. So he's a very
Not yet. Not
colorful
yet.
individual, and he apparently everybody is related to him.
Mm-hmm.
You're either his aunt, your uncle, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right. That's kind of a mild way of saying.
Yeah.
It's
Here we
being
go.
He's into
Oh,
affectionate,
the
I guess.
close-ups. Yeah.
here we go.
I know Vanita. I was on her broadcast. Yeah.
Yes. Is she? And she's a Christian as well, right?
She said she grew up in a Catholic school, but not exactly, I
No.
guess,
Okay.
anymore. But and she
Now,
keeps
My
if
ending the
mom was
I
broadcast
had
very
with
these
"See you,
Catholic.
cards,
suckers."
can I make a card for you? Would that be okay?
I guess.
Are like some people got upset
Really?
because
For what?
well, I mentioned them too much on Twitter, and I've started mentioning you on Twitter. Is that upsetting you by any stretch of the imagination?
Why? Why
Rick
would that
looks so
upset
upset.
anybody?
I
I
can't imagine what
met a
Rick looks
guy
like.
today. His name is James 22 Crypto.
Yeah, I heard about that guy. Good
Now,
guy.
why would it be 22? He's 22 years old. He has 22 different cryptos. Like,
My favorite
if you were
number.
to speculate, okay,
I mean,
You
that
don't
is
have to
common
speculate.
that
I just
people.
told you.
Yeah.
I just told you. It's
Gratitude
also
and
my
kindness
favorite
are my
angel number too.
superpowers.
My favorite angel number as well.
what are yours? If you had a superpower, Rick, what would it be?
That was actually one of the would you rather questions. They had you pick
Mm,
between super strength or speed. I think there
mm.
was a different one too. I picked speed because I was like, well, if you have speed, that could give you super strength because if you're going that fast against something, that is like extra, velocity, strength. So I picked strength. I mean, speed.
I already have a superpower.
But
What is it, buddy?
The power of healing.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I'm being serious right now. Can we be serious for a minute? Is that possible?
Sure.
Okay. So, Rick, I want you to, for your viewers, describe
okay.
uh, our friend here, like if you can, not the dog or the cat. Is that the
Is it
dog? I think it's the dog.
a
I
cat? Is
I
that a
only
cat?
have dogs.
And James,
Oh, dog. Okay, sorry.
if you could describe James
Oh,
as like let's say you're psychic and James comes to you and you're trying to explain to yes yeah okay go ahead James.
Oh, I'm
so
sorry.
what am I doing again?
Are you talking to Rick or me?
You talking to me?
You talking to me?
Rick,
Okay, that's
describe
what I thought.
to your
I'm
viewers.
describing. Okay, James.
James.
Okay, he will pump you up. No, he loves to exercise, and because he likes crypto, he's automatically my buddy. He's like already part of the family.
To the
Um,
moon, my friend. To the moon. Diamond
yes, sir.
hands.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Crow did really
Parabolic.
good today, by the way.
All these
Yeah.
words. I love these new words I've learned.
Right.
Parabolic.
Very. Yes, yes. To the moon, parabolic. All these crypto loving words. Yeah. Very. Pump you up. Pump you up. Um,
Not the
seems
greatest
like a
Arnold
very
voice,
happy.
but anyway.
Seems like a happy person. Like very happy, very friendly, very welcoming. Smiling. Like you can't be sad around him because he's always smiling. When you're smiling,
Was it Armstrong?
Yeah, that was
and then
amazing.
all the women love him when he takes his shirt off.
And the
He
Not
men.
dreams
just the
about
women.
any dream, well, and the gay men, and then he dreams about unicorns all the time.
Not all the time. Just on
Not all the time.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That's old news. That's old news.
Okay.
That that's
Yeah, that's deflated news. We've deflated
very
that.
deflated.
It's very deflated for the season. It's deflated for the season.
Yeah, it's in the shed right now with the patch
Right.
kit. It's all good.
It's all it's deflated. You know what? Just because of that unicorn got so much like talk. Thank you, Michael. I think I'm going to buy a bigger floating something
Yeah,
for next season. I'm gonna have
we
to.
got
I'm
so
gonna have
many
to
views
search
because of
that.
that unicorn.
I'm gonna find something even bigger. It's gonna take the whole pool.
You should put that on TikTok. The only thing is that could be your thing, and you don't want that to be your thing.
No, I'm not on TikTok though.
Not yet.
Not yet. I used to be, and I got off.
You could have
Do they have
millions and billions.
I'm not about the numbers. I'm about the people.
Yes.
do they
Yes.
have ginormous Shreks? Blow up Shreks? That'd be funny.
I think they got ginormous anything. I mean, you can find anything pretty much. We used to. My wife bought a bigger than unicorn. You saw the size of the unicorn. Bigger than unicorn was a swan, a white swan, and that thing was so massive it took up probably half the pool. And I used to get irritated. I was like, "Babe, this thing is too big. It's taking up half the pool. Are you kidding me?" Blah blah blah. And then one day it mysteriously got a hole in it.
How tragic.
I don't know what happened.
Really?
It
Wow,
just got a hole
that's
in it, and
sad.
it,
It
it
did,
was
eh?
unrepairable. It was
Yeah.
unrepairable, and I had to throw it
That's
away.
too
Unbelievable.
bad.
It's too bad.
That's
I
so
know.
Can
sad.
can we talk about crypto for a sec? Is that okay on this
Absolutely,
channel?
I love talking crypto.
Why
Are
not?
we good with that?
Yeah.
So, I have family and friends that love to buy in November because they know people have to pay their taxes. It always goes down. It goes on sale. And it's funny because someone said the other day, this is the only thing where people get upset when it goes down, when it goes on sale. And the real
Yes.
true long haulers, we'll use that term again, in the crypto market, love when it tanks because they know it's all
It's on
gonna,
sale. It's a red
yeah,
tag sale.
but it'll come up again.
Oh yeah, it's cyclical. Everything's
Oh,
cyclical.
always does.
Yeah.
Always
If
does.
you're, I
Always.
mean, we're basing everything, all the data off of the 3-year cycle of
Hmm.
Bitcoin. So if you look at Bitcoin in its 3-year cycle, we're coming to the end of the bull run. So if
You may have
obviously
to
this is
explain some of these terms. That's all. I'm not
so.
trying to
All right, so
bother.
a bull. Okay, that terminology is staying with the stock market.
Hmm.
A bull and a bear. Bull is, just think of it, bull horn. It's powerful. It's on a run. It's going up. A bull is rising. Bear is just like the word bear. You know, your
Hmm.
cupboards are bare. That means it's empty. It means it's going down, and the cycle is down. So bull it rises, bear drops.
See, I always thought it
Anyways,
meant like unbearable.
well,
Oh,
it
wait.
could be unbearable for people because
Like,
people lose their
like it,
mind.
right?
If
And
you
And
lose
bought
so
their
at the
Warren
mind.
top, it's
Buffett,
unbearable.
Yeah.
right? Warren Buffett is quoted in saying, you know, what is it? Buy the blood in the streets, I think was the
Hmm.
terminology he used. Um, I think so. Don't email me or DM me and say it wasn't Warren Buffett. It was so and so. I don't know, but
It was Sunny from Sunny and Cher. Yeah, I know.
right.
Okay.
No, but so based on the 3-year cycle of Bitcoin, and
I
obviously
got you,
that's
babe.
what they're
I
going on
know.
the
I was just
data,
about to do that. We would
that
have been right.
we should be ending the bull run relatively soon, right? Nobody knows exactly when it is,
Yes.
and but it should be relatively soon. But because nobody knows when exactly the rise and the fall are, that's
Hmm.
why there's two types of investors. Well, there's more than two types, but the two types of investors that are successful are the ones that just buy and don't touch it and leave it for
Yes.
years. And then the other one is the one that pulls profits. And they slowly pull profits at certain percentage points as it rises because they know they're never going to predict the top
Right.
before it starts falling. And then and people try to wait to the very top. And by the time they think it's going to the top,
It's
it's
done.
rising and then they can't and then the exchange is overwhelmed and
Yeah.
you can't take profits out and then by
Oh
the
yeah.
time you're able to take profits
Do you know what
out
it
you
reminds
might
me
have
of?
lost
Trading
30%.
Places. Did you ever watch that movie with Eddie
Oh, I love
Murphy
that movie. Yeah, that
and
was a
Dan
good movie.
Aykroyd? And at the end he goes, and we had a bet for $1.
$1.
$1, and they ruined the two old guys. You
Yep.
won, sir. You were right.
Remember the sequel when they were bums and they dropped the bag of cash and they looked
Yes.
at each other and they're like, "We're back."
Can I show you something? All
Sure.
right. So
Absolutely.
on my YouTube video, on my YouTube video, that sounded weird. I made a video of me going to Dunkin' Donuts,
Mm-hmm.
buying a drink
Mm-hmm.
with cryptocurrency off of my phone.
Oh, no
I
way.
gave them no money. I gave them no cash. I
Okay.
just, here, scan the phone, and it took cryptocurrency out. Now, at that time,
Uh
I
huh.
believe it was like 20 something, maybe $23
Uh
was
huh.
what was left after I spent the virtual cryptocurrency. This is what's in
Yeah.
there now. And I haven't touched it since.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I
$23
want.
is
I,
now $301.
yeah. I want. I
And I
want to
could
tell
go to
you.
Dunkin' Donuts and spend $300 right now.
Yeah.
Or whatever store they support, which is a bunch of them actually.
Well, I think it was Blab that was giving Ethereum out at one point.
They were.
Yeah,
You're
and there were
right. That was when it was like a
individuals.
dollar, $140 maybe or something like that.
Yeah. So some people used to buy pizza and things like that, and now they're like, "That's the most expensive pizza I've ever bought in my life," and
The
that's a
first thing I
situation
ever
like
bought.
yourself. There
Yeah,
was
the first thing
another
I ever bought was
gentleman.
Bitcoin.
There was another gentleman who was a reporter, and he didn't like Bitcoin. He thought it was completely intermixed with the black. You know where we're going.
Dark,
Ma,
dark energy.
the
I
well,
agree with that actually, but go on.
the
Hi, Missy.
well, the dark web at that time. This is like 6 years ago. But wanted to do, and he felt like it was linked with just the Russian mafia and all this other stuff. And so he bought $250 worth to understand what he was doing, put it in a wallet, and forgot about it. And 6 years passed, and he looked at the wallet and he went, "I can buy a."
Mm.
He said, "I can buy a house from the two
Yeah,
hundred and fifty
yeah.
dollars." He said he didn't even pick them. He just did a random. He said, "Yeah, just whatever you think is good, sir. What do you think I should do?" And the guy went, "Why? This is what I'm investing in."
Wow.
See, I got a similar story. My chiropractor, um, it's a husband and wife, very nice couple, and anyways, I was with the husband at the time because sometimes, I don't, I'm not picky. Like if I needed it, who's ever available. So, anyways, I was chatting with him because we were kind of friends and we have similar friends. We go to Halloween parties and some whatever. Anyways, so we're talking cryptocurrency, and when you find out somebody likes or is an investor, it's like meeting a fellow American in Europe. It's like an instant bond, and you're chatting and you're talking, and so he shares me a story. He said, I forget how many years ago this was. His nephew, they were at a party, and he said he was drinking, and he said he was really drunk, and his nephew, who was young, and this was probably 2011, I think,
Yeah,
somewhere in that range. And he's telling him about Bitcoin, and he's drunk, and he's like, yeah, 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 whatever, Bitcoin. What about Bitcoin? Da da da. What is this Bitcoin? He didn't know anything about it. So he says, all right. He goes, listen, I'll give you $1,000. You invest into the Bitcoin. If it makes if I make my money back, he says, um, you can have, give me my money back, and he says you can have half of whatever,
of the
whatever, blah blah
profit,
blah,
of the
for the
profit
profits.
of, yeah,
Well, it was a little over, I think, $100,000 on his $1,000 investment, and he
Wow.
didn't. He forgot about it because he said he was pretty drunk that night. He forgot all about it. He said his nephew called him up and said, "Hey, um, the I'm gonna give you back your money and then half of what the profits are." And he's like, "What?" He was kind of like, he says, "Okay," and he says, so he said he got the money. He looked at, and he's like, "Are you kidding me?" It's
yeah.
like people
There's
don't realize
there,
they
there's
just
one guy saying he has 200 million in a dumpster, in the dump, and he wants the
Oh,
city to dig it
yeah.
up. And
Hmm.
he said, if you can figure out where you buried it, I'll give you half. You'll get $100 million.
Do you know how many people
Yeah.
lost their wallets because in the very beginning there wasn't a user friendly exchanges like there are now, and
Right.
they had to write stuff on like pieces of paper, their numbers and all this kind of nonsense. I know somebody who lost. Matter of fact, if you look it up, out of all the people that own specifically Bitcoin,
Yes.
there is a large portion that lost their wallets, and it's just
Yeah. Well, because they didn't take it seriously.
Hmm.
And Bitcoin was the first, so there
Yep,
wasn't as many
exactly.
back then.
So,
Yep.
James, think about this. In the last 6 years, if you took half the money you spent on alcohol and partying and put all of that in the last 6 years into Bitcoin, you could afford
I would I
those
would I would
those
own
live in
halves. I
large
wouldn't even need any
fish
other
tanks.
investors. I wouldn't even need yeah, I wouldn't even need investors. No, but it's not
We
about the
wouldn't
money.
be.
But you know what? I already know that I'm gonna. I have been doing well. I've been invested since 2017, and I
Yeah.
know that before or definitely by 2025, which is right
I
around the
I, th- I
corner.
think Missy said goodbye. Stevie Wonder's
Yep.
here.
Oh, bye, Missy. Hey, Stevie
Bye.
Wonder.
She said bye. She says evening all. I think that's a hello, not a goodbye.
Oh, that could be. Could be.
Say
Sounds more like a hello to me.
hello, my friends. Hello.
Evening. Good
Yeah.
evening.
Good
Yeah.
evening, my friends.
Good
Yeah.
Do you
evening.
ever watch
James.
The Simpsons, James?
I used to, but I don't watch TV anymore. I only watch, if I watch
Yeah.
TV, it's fish tanks or fireplaces.
I don't know his name. Is it Mr. Burns?
Yo, Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns. Very interesting.
Very
Yes, yes,
interesting.
yes.
With his big pointy nose.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes,
There,
yes,
there's
yes.
quite a few individuals I feel that have that kind of personality on social media.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yes,
For
and
sure.
and they do this at night, going, who do I mess with
They
tonight?
conspire. They
Yes,
conspire against people. I
yes,
know.
it's
And there's
terrible.
quite a few
Well, isn't it
Flanders,
freaky how
too.
many things?
The Flander.
Isn't it
I,
freaky how
I know
many
where you're
things
going.
Mm.
they've seemingly predicted a few things.
A few?
Almost everything.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
Seriously.
that's crazy.
But
They
you know,
That's crazy.
predicted Trump.
there's another theory behind that. Is so like I think it also goes to the Mandela effect. Is so
Mm,
if you believe that we all manifest, um, which I do, so on that line of thinking, if you believe that you create your reality and you manifest things in your life, and so the more what you what you focus on and what you think about more is what you create. So behind that with the Simpsons is it's almost like if you're watching the Simpsons and you have a massive amount, it's a popular show and it's been popular for probably over 20 years now. So if you have a large percentage of the population watching the Simpsons and they're
mm,
all thinking of the Simpsons and they're thinking of these episodes and they're thinking of what
yeah,
there is, they're in a way they're kind of manifesting the future outcome, and so
yeah,
that's a theory of why they predict so many things in the future is because the people are manifesting what they're watching on television, and so they're collectively manifesting that into reality. That's just a theory. I'm just saying.
You know what I like? If you go back and you
Hmm.
look at, William Shatner,
The, the
right?
the thin one or the current one?
The Studley one. Like
Okay.
he would have
Yeah.
been able to keep up with you in the workout.
Yeah. So back in the Star Trek days.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you think about all those things, the transporter, warp speed, going
Yeah.
through black holes,
Yep.
all those things now are very close to being proven. So here's the freakiest one, and I'm starting to believe that this conversation now could be going on in anywhere from 6 to 9 different variations
You
in
mean
different
timelines?
frequencies in
Yeah. Oh
timelines.
yeah. Oh yeah.
But timelines are really only frequencies, by the way.
Yeah. Right. It's just yeah. It's
It's like the dial of a radio. Yeah,
correct.
it shows how old I am. But if you had like an AM radio or an FM radio and you put it in between two stations, you could hear both stations. Not well,
Right. Right.
but you could hear both. And that's what they say happens
Crossing
with,
timelines or crossing
yeah,
frequencies. Yep.
yeah. See, in
Yep.
another
You mean
timeline,
flip? Don't you think
James has
flip?
long flowing hair and he's in a rock band and he's jumping
I
around
don't.
sweating,
I don't even
but
know
it's
if
for different
I could
reasons.
ever. I don't know if. I mean, I believe in multiple lives and past lives and things of that nature,
Mm,
but I don't know if I ever. I mean, possibly, obviously, ever got into hair or liked hair because I actually had a reading. I
hmm
had a reading a few years ago, and somebody
Do you want to go check your door?
said that in a past life I was a monk. And I
You
never
have
seen
that
a
vibe.
monk with hair. I never seen a monk with hair.
You know what?
Hey,
You have that vibe. You do actually.
hey! They always have to have
So
the last talk. The last word.
you know what Rick said to me the other day? He says, "Do you have a plan when you go on, or you just go with the flow?" And I went, "Yeah, we're all about the flow here. There is no script."
No, Michael.
I was gonna say go.
I think you used to have a script, a sort of loose script. I think you would come on with the intention, hey, I'm going to play these tracks, I'm going to promote X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to talk about, you know, this as like the word of the day or the intention of the day or the good, vibe. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Hmm.
at some level you have a certain script, but I think for the most part we all kind of go with the flow, ad lib, depending on if you have guests on. If you have a broadcast with no guests on, then it's pretty much what you went on for
And the
to talk
comments,
about.
yeah,
Right, and the comments because they're
yeah,
random. You don't know what
yeah.
people are going to say.
And
You don't know
Rick is
what
a
guests might come
master
on.
at that, by the way. Like you
Because he
could
has
teach a
practice.
course. He could teach a course on it. It's because he's done it so long. And
Hmm.
think about it. If you're not a broadcaster and you haven't done it, you feel like, especially if you're making something for YouTube, right? You're
Hmm.
talking to nobody. You're
Right.
insane. Who am I talking to? Where at least you have a little bit of push and pull. I was going to say something else. I stopped myself. Thank you, the governor. The break. We have a break. Um, so I love this with Haps that you have the interaction, and we see the same people all the time, and it circulates, and we have a kind of a family. But
Yeah.
what Rick was doing 6 years ago, that was tough.
But isn't that kind of like a radio broadcaster? I mean, you might have the producer and maybe another person
Yeah, but they're
behind the
scripted,
scenes,
buddy. Every
you
minute
know?
is scripted if you're a radio guy.
Yeah.
Like everything's in a pocket. You have some wiggle room, but very little. Yeah, I've done
This
radio.
is
It
Fraser
sucks.
Crane. This is
Right.
Fraser Crane.
That was
And I'm
such a good
listening.
show. That was such a good
I
show.
love that show. I
Kramer.
love that
Back,
show.
back in the day, if you did
Or Fraser, I
radio,
mean, Fraser. Why is
they,
it
they had eight
Fraser?
track tapes, and you put the 8-track tape in, and that was the commercial. And this was like 1983, and I was 20 and terrified.
83. They
80,
were still using that in 83.
83 at this one station I was at. Everything that was an ad, actually, some of the music was 8-track too.
You know, I
Wow.
I think it's funny you said 83 because my younger brother went to a car auction
Mm-hmm.
and he got I think it was a 1983 green Mustang, like old two-door Mustang with the
That had an 8-track player, right?
that had an 8-track cut
Yeah, it was
stock
very
in it.
common, especially
Yeah,
pickups.
that had
And
8-track stock
do
in
you
it.
know why they did 8 tracks? The tape was thicker
Hmm.
and it lasted longer. It was less prone to break. They,
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's ever had cassettes in their car and
Oh
it get
yeah.
hot and you pull it out and the goddamn was like spaghetti
Yep.
and you get a piece of tape and slice it and put it together.
No, or
Yeah.
you get a
Yeah.
number two pencil and then you can
Right.
turn it, you can retract
You
it.
And
may be
sometimes it
old
gets
if
stuck and you can't.
Yeah, yeah. Then you have to toss it. Or some people, the clever friends that were more a little, um, I call them my MacGyver friends. They could splice it. They could splice the tape. But then you didn't know, when you listen it back, and then you'd have that stretch of just
Yeah.
splice.
or half the song would be gone.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, it's
Or the
wild.
rewind. Remember the rewind? If you hit it while it was playing.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Now you know with the cassette that it only ever played half of it.
Mm-hmm.
So side one was only half of that small little tape.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then on the other side, which was just was the other side going the other direction. Like if you think about it, such a
Mm-hmm.
crazy, and cassettes were,
Amazing.
oh my God, if I got every dime back I ever spent on a cassette,
Still have cassettes in this house. Well, let's think
Oh, I
about it.
still have them
So
too.
we went from vinyl, then we
Mm-hmm.
went to 8-track, then cassettes,
mm-hmm.
then CDs,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was those. Remember, for a small period of time before we went
Mm-hmm.
digital, it was those mini CDs,
Mini
like
discs,
MP mini discs.
mini disc only by Sony at the beginning.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the reason it didn't take off is they didn't share the patent, and they did the same mistake with the VHS, where you know how there was a VHS tape and then there was
Beta,
Sony Beta, right?
Betamax.
beta.
And
Yeah,
not to bring up the Beta here, and it was a far superior
quality
format,
of. Yeah.
but it was expensive,
Hmm.
and VHS sold the rights to anybody, and they
Yep.
dominated because of that.
Yep.
And there's something to be learned about sharing creativity,
Don't
like
be
we did
greedy.
here. Yeah.
It's
Don't be
true.
greedy, you'll end up being the
Hi,
needy.
Melanie.
Well, that's why they do. That's why these people who have patents and they don't want to give up their,
Yeah.
especially in the pharmaceutical industry, is what they do. Usually, I think it's around a 20-year run, um, and then it goes to the generic. Then people can, if you want to develop
Yeah.
somebody's patent within that time period, then you have to pay them, right? But
Yeah.
if you don't want to pay them, then you have to wait for it to expire. Otherwise, the loophole is some of these companies will just change one subtle little ingredient,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
But
it's really.
James, we're lulling his audience into a coma.
I don't know. Oh yeah,
I know, so we better stop.
we better
Listen,
stop.
do you, do you want to talk about something spiritual for a while? Do you
Let's
remember
all pray.
Pet Rocks? Do you remember Pet Rocks, guys?
Do you remember?
Oh my gosh.
You remember those? Yeah.
Barely, yeah.
Yeah. And Neon, which
No.
came
Let's
back
talk about
again.
our. Let's talk about growing up with churches, because I grew up in
Mm.
Chicago, and I remember as a cat growing up Catholic, going to catechism, going to
I thought you said
confirmation,
cat. Growing up as a
catechism.
cat.
Yeah, right. But I remember the church that we
Joy.
went to. It was
Hey,
it was
Joy.
to me it was a real church. It looked like a castle. It had like statues inside, and it had all the, I think there was even like gargoyle looking things at some areas. I mean, and it had the booths, the confessionals, and it just was just like mysterious. And then you see churches now, and it's in a strip mall, and it's like a warehouse, and and it's just not this to me. And I'm not a
No, it's
religious
not the
person.
same. I
It's just not
agree.
the same. It's
I
not the
agree.
same.
So listen, if we were a jukebox, how many more records are we going to play? Do you want to bring up Joy? I can go down. You can bring Joy in if you want. Joy
Yeah.
is going to elevate the information in here to a whole new level, and we may not have people going, "Is the pencil still in my eye?"
I could jump
That's
down
funny.
too if you guys want to. It's no big deal.
No, I love
We
you're
got
here, but
we
that
got room.
you and I could talk for days, and people are going, "They're insane."
She's losing her voice, she said.
I'm losing my mind, and I'm
Well,
still here.
Joy, make yourself a tea. Make yourself a hot tea. It'll help. It helps
A hot
stimulate
tea.
your vocals
With honey.
with
Yes.
Some
honey.
honey.
Yes, and maybe a
So
little
what does
lemon.
it do?
Squeeze a little
It
lemon in.
stimulates your vocals?
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah. And honey is just soothing anyway, because it's like a
It's
thick
very
thing going down
soothing.
your throat. So.
you
We
find
like
most
When
things.
I grew up,
very soothing or stimulating? Do you,
Michael, we like soothing things.
do you like soothing things? Oh my.
Oh my.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
I grew up Catholic though too. Portuguese in a Portuguese church, so it was all Portuguese because my parents are from Portugal. So I was like, I don't know what they're saying mostly, but then I freaked my parents out one time because I like to sing. That's a big shock there.
You're
So
amazing.
they had the
You are.
books. They had the books. So I'm following
Hmm.
along, and I'm hearing and I'm looking and I'm following along. So I learned how to read it and never even told
Nice.
my parents. I don't know what the heck it's saying, but I could read it. And then one day my father was in the hospital, and there was some kind of a pamphlet there for whatever reason. It was in Portuguese,
Yeah.
and I go, "Oh, I can read that." And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever. I can. Yeah, go ahead." And I did. And they were like, "You know how to read?" Yeah, I learned myself. I don't know what it's saying, but I can read it. So yeah, that was
That's
crazy.
amazing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like languages. I've always liked languages. So
I
How
like
many languages do you
mathematics.
speak?
I, like, I think
how
that the
many?
universal
Yeah. Do you
language
speak
is
more than one?
math.
Yeah, English, Portuguese, and Spanish. And if I have to learn another one, it'll be Italian.
True, Michael.
Yes.
The universal language is math, because math is
Yeah.
1 plus 1 is always 2. It never changes.
Yes.
With languages, you can misinterpret by how you pronunciate something. but you can't do that with math.
And have you guys? I have to go soon, but have you ever read a book 10 years ago, and you read the
Yes.
book and went, "What a pile of garbage," but you read it anyways because it was interesting enough to keep you hooked, or someone said you have to read this, and
Oh
then
yeah, did you
ten
read it because of school, or did you read it because of your own interests at the time?
right, but then you read it 10 years later, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is effing brilliant," because you're different. You're a different person reading that book.
Yes. Also, I
Does it
remember
work?
reading, like for specifically Eckhart Tolle's New Earth book.
Yes.
I had to read that book two times,
Mm-hmm.
fully understand what I was
Yeah.
reading.
But it's a different book every time you read it, and I think the Bible's the same. I think
Even
when
TV shows and movies for me, like, because I don't know, I have this
You
weird
miss
ability to
things.
watch a
yeah,
movie, and if it's been a while, it's like I feel like I'm just watching it for the first time, even though I know I
yeah.
watched it. Like I forget it, but it's like, how did I miss all that? I don't remember all that.
Yeah.
Rick, have you ever read the Book of Enoch?
Not fully, like
I
kind of looked
have.
at
The
it.
first time I read it, I was like, this was way beyond me. Then I read it recently, and it was like, this is shockingly accurate.
Hmm.
What about
And
oh, what's the book title?
People love to talk about it. I know that they have YouTube
Yeah.
videos about it too.
you should read it. Being the man that you are, I think you would get some clarity with it. It's not a big book.
Yeah, I know.
It's not very big, but it's
That's what she
like
said.
Eckart's book. You read Eckart's book, and you can take a paragraph, and you can have 19 people read it, and they all interpret it differently.
Even
Hmm.
Deepak Chopra. I've read a lot of his books,
Yeah,
and especially the most recent one, the Universe something book.
yeah.
There's a, I mean, it goes really deep, and then it gets
But
when he
read as much
talks.
as you can, and read as many religions as you can, and be open, be a sponge to learning.
The Last
Hmm.
Man on Babylon. Have you guys ever read that one?
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
it talks about what's going on right now.
I just hope we're not the last man on Haps. That's the.
But that, I think that book was written in the '70s, and it's like very strangely accurate about the times
But
we
they
live
all
in.
are though.
I know, I know.
They
Isn't
all
that
are.
weird?
19,
There's a
Contagion. We're
there's a lot
living
like that.
1980,
contagion. That movie can.
1984.
Yeah. Oh, don't go there.
We are in 1984.
You are
There's a
a
lot of.
weird dude, man. There is not one Christian in the world I would think would bring up 1984. I'd see them burying that.
No,
Burn it now, run, son.
well, we're
Did that book
practically
get
there.
burnt?
That
We're
book
practically
is
there.
is insanely accurate.
Hmm.
Scary.
It's too scary.
What about the books that were written, but the person who was writing the book
Hmm.
will tell you that they weren't actually writing it. They were. It
Channeling
was.
it.
They were channeling the book.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wayne Dyer said he wrote 30 of his books
Yeah.
channeling. Same with Deepak Chopra. The other thing is, too, let's not lie. A lot of guys have 5, 10, 20 ghostwriters who are writing for them all the time.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
But you know how Eckhart did it for a while? He would write a page a day, and anybody can write a page a day.
Yeah.
So you got
Oh yeah.
365 page book in a year. You do
Yep.
that every year, and they sell well. You live well. You can be exercising, in your basement, dancing, screaming warrior after that for the rest of the
And
time.
We're all
the next book,
warriors.
the next book I'm gonna write is probably going to be about the 40 pounds that I lost. I already started it.
Actually, it's funny because I believe we all have at least a book in us, and
Hmm.
I always joke for years that I want to write this book, but I got to change the names because the amount of chapters, just that the amount of stories that I could tell with the things I've seen and experienced. I mean, within my job alone is. But like I said, I have to change names.
Mm.
Don't want to get
For your
sued
protection.
for my protection. I always
Um,
wondered about that. When you do a book like that, and you say you write a book about things that you experienced in your everyday life, but you change names. but then the people in your everyday life know who you're talking about, right? So at some level,
like
you're
Mr.
telling on
Burns.
people, sort of, but you're not, right?
Do you mean like Mr.
It's
Burns? Is that what you mean?
kind of, but not really,
Yeah.
because that's very isolated to the view.
Hmm.
There might
It's
be
an
one other
inside joke
person.
here. Sorry.
Yeah, there
Sorry,
might be
Rick.
one other person who knows about that. But what I'm talking about is there's 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 a dozen plus people that would know what I would be talking about
Yeah.
in a book in a book like that.
I have promised to be on another broadcast, but if I can, there's just two questions I want to ask, and then I can leave, or I can leave now if that's better for you guys. But the first question I want to ask is, what do you think it's going to take for us to get this platform more positive?
Bring back some of the features that they took away. Simple as that.
You think that would change it overnight?
If enough people hear about it, I think people are going to whine and complain about landscape, and I do too. But for me, the biggest thing I miss is the presenting stuff, because I used it on every broadcast.
Oh, I bet
I
you
would
did.
The songs I sang, I have like YouTube karaoke versions, and I had the words on the screen so you could sing
Yes.
along. I can't do that now.
But can you do that if you master like OBS?
Probably, but my OBS won't work on my computer. I upgraded it, and now it's all screwed up. It won't run on my computer
But
now.
OBS does not run well on here, buddy.
It doesn't.
No,
So what?
not
Then why
not
would I
yet.
even
It
waste my
will,
time then? It
but it
will.
will.
Okay.
No, but it will.
I don't want to invest my time in learning
Yeah.
a program if it's not going to be
Oh no,
successful on this platform.
you're going to use it in the future. Trust me. Think of
Yeah.
it this way: you have this girl that's not interested in you, but you keep knocking on her door and going, "Look, I think you're the one. I love you. Do you think you'll date me? No, go away." And you go for about a couple years, and then finally you date, and the next thing you know, she's asking you to marry you. Like so, just stay in the game, my friend. Don't be a warrior. There's a guy watching in the morning. He sweats a lot. He's like, you're abundant. You're a warrior.
I looked at
Sometimes you
Best
don't
Buy
smell good. I
today.
think he says that as well. And he lists his armpit.
Now that's you, Michael.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's right.
always
That's when I work out. I got confused. How, how did you like my toque today?
Your what?
I had a toque on in the broadcast today.
Oh yeah, you mean your hat,
Hat.
your beanie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Does nobody know
That was
what a
hilarious.
toque is?
No,
I didn't
people
know.
don't know all the Canadian terminology.
That's so weird because you both looked at me like,
Yeah, I didn't know what you were saying. Toot?
Michael, step away from the pipe.
I thought toot. Maybe you like farted in your broadcast or something.
Oh, like that guy last night?
Joseph,
He
jo-
did,
Joseph was ripping them.
He was like,
like purposely.
Oh yeah, and we thought it was an effect, and he was laughing so hard. He was no, that was real.
Oh wow,
It echoed.
own it.
He boomed it. It was a boomer. Better
The
out than in.
boomer.
That's what my grandma used to say.
No, we were joking about that in the beginning of COVID. Not the beginning, maybe the mid of COVID.
Yeah.
That you know how people used to camouflage their farts, like they would like
Yeah.
disguise. Oh, and blame it on the dog. Now they're camouflaging their coughs and they're farting willingly. Like, you know what I mean? It's like God forbid you cough. I think we kind of passed
God,
that
yeah.
too. I think we're in a stage where we're past that too. I
No,
think
no.
ultimately most
Oh no.
people
Listen, if
are
you wanted to
done.
freak people off, and just fake, pull your mask down in Canada and start coughing like you're losing your mind. They would run.
yeah, yeah.
They
Some
would
people,
run.
The one thing that I do find that I wish people would, even if you wear a mask and stuff, why can't you make eye contact? Why are you, I mean, it's just like people, if you notice it, they look down,
Mm.
I mean, this whole social distancing doesn't mean you can't smile at people and look people in the eye, you know? I don't
Rick,
know,
what's your opinion on that?
it's
Well, you can't
disturbing.
tell if you're smiling if you have a mask on.
You
Generally, I
can,
guess.
because think about
You
it.
can
If
look
I'm a
people in the eye,
girth,
though.
But
your
see,
eyes are so. Thank
right.
God
But
we can't
imagine if
cover
you
our
don't have
eyes,
your
but
picture up or you're not on video.
true,
You can't
true.
you can't see the facial expressions of these people. Are you doing an arm exercise right now?
It's my new
Or churning
exercise.
butter? You're churning
Yeah,
butter?
it's my new exercise.
Yes.
It's the
Okay.
churning butter move.
It's the turning
Yes.
butter.
Yes. No,
That's
to
I
too
might
me,
funny.
incorporate that.
to me,
Yeah, get a
even in
dumbbell.
There you go.
even
Yeah,
I'd lift your hand a little higher. I'm getting a little concerned,
shoulder.
but
Good for your shoulders.
Yep. What was
okay,
that, Michael?
I'm back.
What was that? Was
Just
that
I
a
gotta.
Chrissy Snow? He just Chris. I thought he was gonna snort out of his nose. He just did a Chrissy Snow.
That was your was
Oh.
that your chair that made that noise, or was that what you I did last night?
No, the hand movement was too reminiscent of something else, and I just
I
couldn't.
thought that came out of his nose. I thought he snorted. Like remember Chrissy Snow used to always snort.
It was right up there
Three's
with the
Company.
with
Who
the
remembers Three's Company?
the photo we had with Nazim the other day.
Oh
I do.
jeez. Oh my God.
Man, when are we gonna
You
stop
can't
talking about that?
you
It's like a
can't
I
kid.
unsee
know.
that. You can't unsee that.
No.
No, I
Okay,
wasn't ready.
Rick. It
I
was.
wasn't ready.
Was it Sunday morning or Saturday
It
morning?
was Habs Gold.
It was
Was it
Saturday or Sunday
Sunday?
morning, Rick.
Joyce says
But
she's known for snorting.
Rick,
Ah,
they invited me on the broadcast. I was still in my pajamas, and I did
Saturday. It was Saturday.
Saturday morning, and I had my coffee, and I was sitting down talking to the guys, and I might have had maybe 3, 4 sips in, and then all of a sudden, hey James, and he goes like this. Not
Wow.
ready,
Yeah.
not ready, not ready.
I'm gonna leave and just tell you a true story that happened recently, and it's happened twice. So there's a hill that I walk up when I'm working out, and the person's coming, and they went, Michael Bathurst, how are you? I went, oh hi, where's Randy been? In Canada, nobody knows about Habs. At least I thought that. It blew me away.
Hmm.
And then as he was walking by, he went, you could be nicer at times.
That is
Isn't that
funny.
So are
funny?
you
My
getting?
friend went to
He didn't
Florida.
stop.
My
He
friend.
didn't stop. You know what I mean?
That's
Like he
funny.
saw me, so it was like he was about 30 meters ahead of me. He goes, Michael Bathurst. Like,
Are you getting recognized now a little bit? Are you
yeah.
getting? Yeah.
But I thought it was hilarious. He goes, I haven't seen Randy for a while. And
That's
then as he
Well, he
goes
comes
by
in
me,
spurts.
he looks right at me and goes, you could be nicer. I went,
funny.
what?
My friend went to Florida, and then he's talking to his friend, and then he mentions me for something because we're best friends. So he mentions me.
Mhm.
He's like, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah, Rick Costa." He goes, "Oh yeah, Rick Costa, I know him." He's like, "What? How do you know him?" He goes, "Yeah, I know him." I'm like, "You're lying." He goes, "I swear to
It's
God."
like Periscope, duh.
Yeah, that's what it was.
No,
It's
but
crazy.
the thing is, we have no idea how many people are watching this.
It's true. It's true.
Who
And they
was it?
really
Who
can.
was it? Bobby Shadows
Yes.
cracked me up when he said, "I don't really care about who watches me. I just don't want my neighbors to watch me," or something along that line. Like,
Yeah.
right? I
He
just don't
says,
want
yeah,
my neighbors to watch me.
I don't want my next door neighbors watching me. Everybody else in the world can
I
watch
could
me
care less. Right, right.
except
Except
my
my neighbors.
neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I thought that was kind of funny.
So imagine if you were someone like Oprah, where there was 38 million people watching you a day. You would lose any form of privacy. Or Howard Stern, which is who you've been calling me lately.
Yeah.
Do you know? Actually, real story. Michael Jordan.
Hmm.
Michael Jordan
Hi, James. I love
was
James. He
one
Hey,
of.
always tells
James.
me what he's doing. It's the
Hi,
best.
James Garland.
We love
No,
you,
but
man.
Michael Jordan, when he started to be getting popular,
Hmm.
and then he was doing Chevy commercials early on, and in Illinois, up until recently, really, but back then, tinted like really tinted windows on the sides was illegal, and
Mm-hmm.
he got passes. People, I guess, celebrities and stuff, this got passes, but I remember him interviewing about that and saying that he knew because I think it was Oprah that interviewed him and said that he says, when did you know that you were starting to become famous? And he said, when I would be driving on, and it's funny because he say the highways that I know,
Hmm.
294 and whatever, and actually in Chicago you call them like the Kennedy and anyways, if you're not from around here you don't get that, but anyways, they're all like presidents' names, Eisenhower and stuff. Like if you know you're a Chicagoan, because you call the highways by the president's name and not by the number.
Yes.
But not to sidetrack. He says I would be at a stop sign or I'd be on the highway, and I would feel the looks. My peripheral vision, he says I would
Yes.
feel the looks, I feel the
Yeah.
looks, and then he got to the point where he felt like people were following him and like get so then he would have to tint his windows and,
Yeah.
and it just escalated from that point on.
The weirdest thing I had happen, and it was last winter when I first started doing haps, right? It was around, I think, winter last year. So it's been 300 something days. And this person looked at me and went, Michael, will you pray for me? Because if you pray for me, I know it'll be okay.
Wow.
And I didn't, and then I tried to figure out in my head if I knew them from Facebook and this and this. And then I got a message about a week later and they went, I look like I startled you. I'm sorry.
Did you pray for them?
I did.
So they were a Facebook friend of
Cool.
yours already?
I don't know. I
Oh.
don't know. Like they messaged me on Messenger.
But can't you can message people that aren't friends with you can just message you?
I am a kind of a crazy person. I always say that if you want to get a hold of me, connect with me at shoutmgb@gmail.com on all
So
forms.
you have all your
And
stuff open to the public to respond to
yeah,
you.
and then I get people who are really mad at me and they think I'm being a pompous ass. I on Twitter have at least 500 mentions a day. And I have somewhere around 200 to 300 messages every day.
I
And
can
I
believe
remember
it
one
because this
time
is the
I left the notifications on by accident one night, and it started going ding, 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 and
Oh my
I've
gosh.
never had a dirtier look in my life. Let's put it
I
that
always
way.
have my notifications off. But this is the
Yeah, me
first
too.
time you put me in on Twitter
Yeah.
today,
Yes.
with, and I was like, who the keeps what what?
Who the
I
fuck is this?
was like, what is this?
Who's
What
this?
what?
And what is all
Why
these
does my
people?
thing keep going? What is this?
Why do they keep playing with my thing? Like
I know. I've never seen this box have so many. What's going on?
yeah, yeah. But if I promote you, and that's kind of what I do for other companies and stuff, you'll get traffic. So from now on, if it's okay with Rick, every day that I see he does a broadcast, I'm going to put it through my Twitter.
Well, that's every day.
And yeah, right.
And I
But
don't mind. I'm not complaining, Michael. Just saying, incidentally.
well, Randy got really mad at me one day.
Really?
And oh yeah, he was like, Michael, and he said, honest words, he goes, Mike, I love you. Turn that fucking Twitter off. And he never swears. He goes, they're a bunch of Looney Tunes. I don't have time to read this. It was early in the morning. And then I
Wow.
said to him, but I make money doing that. And he went, all right,
All right. Yeah.
okay,
Right.
all right. If you make money, damn it, I'll bear it.
Michael, how many cards do you have for halves?
What's that mean?
You make cards,
Oh,
little index
Oh, index
index
cards?
cards. Yeah,
tons.
index cards.
Yeah, tons.
No,
Here,
but I mean, when did you start doing that? From the beginning,
Well,
or
I
was
had a
that like?
voice that there was a guy on air, and I was really not feeling very well about myself. I was really down in the dumps.
It was the
And
voice that told you to do it?
well, you might be like, are you manifesting that in your head right now?
Are
you
you
mean
trying to
JD the
find my
voice?
card, or are you trying to make one up right now really fast?
No,
I
no,
think his
no.
name is
There's who's that guy? Does anybody know who that is?
Hans. I am Hans Eckerson,
Hans.
or whatever.
Okay, so not only do I do cards like that, I do this.
Oh yeah, you're right. There's the nice
So what
thing.
that does is if you have a dry spell in your head, it gives you a launching platform. So right now, Rick, what does the word community mean to you?
Like a gathering of people, usually with a common interest.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
A place where you could feel safe, I guess, and
Yeah.
understood.
So if I was on, let's say, this gentleman's, what's your name again, sir? What is? I can't remember. I'm gonna look you up here. Namaste. Yeah, Namashans. Okay.
Hold on,
So
which one did you write? I was gonna say
so
because I changed it recently.
go for a walk today.
Go for a walk today.
So when I originally wrote this, it was because I watched one of your broadcasts.
Mine?
Yeah.
Well, nice, good. You know
You
what's
went.
funny? You know what's funny? You say that. I never even thought about that until some
Yeah.
people started DMing me, and then I had
Mm-hmm.
somebody else saying that. Oh, you know what? I had somebody even say that I was starting to move my arms while I was laying in bed.
Yes.
Just moving my arms. That's it.
Yes.
You know, or things like that. And I was like, I never even thought of that before. And I was, and I it's kind of humbling and unexpected, but very appreciative that people are even watching and moving because especially in this time, like what you alluded to earlier, Michael, where we're going, the best medicine, and Rick,
Mm-hmm.
you said the same thing, is preventive medicine, is absolutely preventive medicine. I'm also a believer in supplements. I have tons of supplements that I take every day. And I do the K1. You know why you do the K1 too? Is because it helps absorb also the vitamin D better. Right.
You know
You
what
know.
pisses me off though so bad? This really gets my goat, as they would say in the South.
I can't
We
imagine you
push.
being pissed off.
Don't you wouldn't
Go.
like me when I'm angry. Don't make me
Okay.
angry. You wouldn't like
Okay.
me when I'm angry.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible Hulk reference, if anybody.
He's that same guy who's the same way. He's like, I was like, I'm angry right now, but you were okay, but I'm happy now. Okay.
But what ticks me
James.
off is they push the jab, I'm gonna use that word instead, so much, and they never say, but get healthy, walk and eat right
Yeah.
and take they never say
Of
that. And
course,
I'm like,
of course,
why?
Rick.
Because they're not making money off of it. That's why.
Right.
Mm,
Our
Vitamin
medicine
D is cheap.
is right, and I'm not gonna. I'll say code words. Just why not? Because we got to learn code words if we want to keep on platforms, right?
Mhm.
They there's a family, a very wealthy family, that created the educational system and the modern medicine system, and
mm-hmm.
they didn't want natural remedies. So what they did is they uh, made everybody who was holistic out to
Yes.
be a wacko, right? And so because they don't want to cure you, they want you to they want you to be just like maintained. You know, they want to
Yeah,
control your illness. They never want to cure it exactly,
because of
because
Yeah,
this.
but
modern natural medicines is inexpensive. Natural cures is very inexpensive.
yeah,
There's
but
no
James,
profits to be made
James,
off of
what
it.
do they do in everything? They make us chase everything.
Yep.
So if you have a phone that's going to be good enough for the next 10 years,
Hi Ash.
Hey,
right? Yeah, like
That's
cuz
why
your
they
phone's
download
fine.
bugs. They download bugs into your
Right.
phone.
So you know what they're implementing in certain countries? They're going to have where you can upgrade your phone inexpensively. It'll be like Lego. You just snap it like this, snap that, and it won't require a technician. You'll pull like a card out, almost like your VCR player. Just snap it in, snap it out, away you go,
Right.
and you'll have more memory, more RAM, whatever. Even in your computer, they're talking about doing that, and they're talking also about having universally only one cord to charge your phone.
Guess what? I actually, Michael, I actually heard a
Like
step up in
universally,
that.
that's the only kind. So let's say it's a C cord, right?
Michael, actually,
Yeah.
I heard with Starlink, when
Mm-hmm.
that gets implemented,
Oh, that
that's
phone's
all.
beautiful. Did you see the phone he's thinking of making?
Yeah, but listen,
Yeah,
also what's going to come is everything is charged wirelessly with satellites.
yeah,
with
yeah.
So your idea with having a universal wire, no,
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be obsolete. This
Yeah.
will be obsolete.
So you never have to plug anything.
Never,
Right,
nothing.
and you don't need a SIM card
Nope,
with his
nothing. It's just
phone
all going to
either.
be. It's all going to be digitally
Yeah, no
charged.
SIM card, no extra charges. It's going to be, and he's going after that. That's the next
Ash.
market he's going for. He wants that market. So Apple now is going, well, you want to do that? We'll make a car. How do you like that, buddy? So, if you push somebody, they'll push back.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah.
And
But we need
everywhere,
innovators. People think, that like they look at these billionaires and they think that they're all evil, but we need more of these type of people because they're creating our future with technology and their vision I mean, they actually have a vision and they're implementing it and they're making it so that we all can share
So
in it.
James, I want to hear, as much as I love your opinion, in my opinion, I also want to hear. I think his name is Rick, and it's his broadcast. Rick, yeah, there you are. What is your interpretation of this? Like, because you said you love Texas. What's he doing?
Oh, I just lost everybody. Oh, are we back?
No, we're back. I know what he did. Stop it.
I like to be on top, guys.
I know you do.
Oh God, TMI.
Too much. Yeah. So, what is it about Texas that you love? What is it when I talk about? Would you be
Hey,
open to having
Oh, we're back
free
to that. Okay.
free internet? Well, it's Elon's there, and he wants to build gated communities where you have
there's a piece of
unlimited energy in the sense of free hydro, what you have from your solar panels. He also wants to have it as low taxes as possible. He's working on a house that costs $50,000 that can be built within a couple days. They're modular.
3D printed.
Yes.
No,
Have you seen?
but
No,
that's where
they
it's
built those
going.
houses.
You're right.
Have you seen them on
They're
where
beautiful.
they show them going up?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you could see it on YouTube too.
And the only reason they want to be in space, no matter what they say, is there's unlimited tapped resources up there, like
Yes.
platinum, gold.
Yes, the mineral, everything. There's tons
Yeah,
of
on
stuff
the
up there.
asteroids, there's trillions
Tons,
of dollars.
tons.
Think about it. It would be like going to the Earth and nobody had been on it and go, yeah, there's a little bit of everything here. So
Hmm.
that's what I've heard. It's they're all trying to get the money, and whoever gets the satellites up first will dominate. And Elon now has the most beautiful phone I've ever seen that he wants to sell. And Apple now is like, well, we also make cars now. How do you like that?
Hmm. It's a copycat.
Yeah.
It's they copycat each other.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Rick, where we're headed before I go?
Specifically, as far as what technology you mean?
In technology, and if you can just kind of dance what you love about Texas.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna talk about another thing, and then I'll get back to that really quick. Did you ever see? I
Sure.
don't know what movie this was, but
Yeah.
this really made me laugh. So somebody brought a guy from the past to the future, and he
Yes.
walked past a supermarket, and he was freaking out about the automatic doors and everything. Oh, how'd they open? You're like, yeah, it's electric and all that. But he saw the bottled water. He goes, "You don't have faucets anymore?" He was like,
Do
"Why
you
do you
re-
have water in bottles? Why?
do you
You don't
guys
have
remember
Exactly.
faucets
the
anymore?"
year? Do you
Yeah.
guys remember the year when that switched? Because we all used to drink tap. We all used to just go right to the tap and drink
Mm-hmm.
it.
Oh,
Do you
no,
guys
I
remember
can't. It's
when the
nasty.
bottles started being implemented into the grocery stores?
Hmm.
Do you have an
Or
idea?
I
we or
can't.
we used to do Brita.
I think bottles was before Brita.
Guys, I just got Tesla Time News as on my computer as an update. What the
Oh, she's like,
what the
puppy.
is that not weird? I swear to God, I'm reading in front of you right now. Because I get little news things and it goes Tesla Time News, Detroit is leading the world in EVs. We were
On
talking
what?
about Tesla.
On like Facebook or Twitter or where?
Well, I have random things that come up when you're in Linux. It's almost like a
Ah,
news feed.
okay. So they're listening too.
They must be.
Of
Of
course they
course.
are. And
Yeah.
if you don't believe us, just do your own experiment in your house with your phone. You could do it to your phone. Just start talking about maybe some specific item that you could
Something you never
purchase.
talked about before.
Yes, yes. And see how fast all of a sudden it starts sponsoring. The ads start coming up around you.
It's true.
It's very true.
Okay, I'm gonna save that and show that later because nobody's gonna believe me.
He's got a golden nugget for later.
Yeah. Well, because I
Well,
see
like I
these
said,
things and people think, oh, he's putting
It's just
fear
near
in us.
Toronto. Ash, I'm not in Toronto. I'm in Illinois. Ash was asking if I ever need a pet sitter that she's near Toronto.
Ah, you've uh, you've had a lot
you
of
know what I
different
noticed?
offers lately.
Americans say Toronto.
Michael, behave. It's
You know what I
Rick's
noticed?
broadcast.
I'm getting cold. I think
Oh,
I'm gonna go get my robe.
behave.
Yeah,
So
sorry,
bad.
we're back.
You know what I noticed?
So bad.
Americans say Toronto Toronto, and you
Yeah,
guys say Toronto. You don't say the T at the end. I was like,
Toronto.
why is that?
Is it silent? Am I saying it wrong? Is it
Toronto. You don't
silent?
say the T.
Michael, is it silent?
Because
Is
my
the T
cousins say
silent?
Toronto. I'm
Is
like,
it
you don't say
Toronto?
T?
Do you say the T
Toronto.
or not? Toronto?
Toronto.
Yeah, they
Toronto.
don't say the T at
You
the end. I don't know
and
why.
you
It's
guys
weird.
say dollar and college.
College.
Yeah, we go to college.
College.
You guys go to college.
College. No, but that's
Oh,
more. You're saying it
And
like a
and
Boston,
we
because if you
and
say it
we
in a
have
Boston accent, you
dollar. We
stretch it
have
out.
dollars and well, we don't have dollars anymore. Who am I kidding? We have crypto now.
Yeah, that's
Crypto.
right, baby. Crypto
when I
to
was
Crypto.
a
the
kid,
moon.
when I was a kid, I was at my cousin's house in Canada, and we were saying like, whatever. How do you spell that? And they were like, blah 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 Z, and I'm like, what? Z, blah 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 Z. I was like, what the heck is Z? It's a letter of the alphabet. I was like, you mean like Z? Yes, Z. I'm like, I never heard Z before.
Right. I thought Zed was dead. Zed's...
Mhm.
That
Funny
was a
little
nice
things.
Harley, though, he inherited from
Mm.
Zed.
Okay,
You guys know what I'm talking about?
so Texas. Why Texas?
I like it. I like the weather. I like the people. I like the vibe, the atmosphere. I think they have no taxes too on a lot of stuff. I just felt really comfortable there. Like,
Hmm.
Everything's
more
bigger in
almost.
Texas, too.
All right, James. We don't need to hear about all that.
No,
Hmm.
seriously. Somebody told me that the cockroaches are so big that you can literally ride
Ugh,
them.
Mm.
yuck.
I think it was funny when I lived in Florida for 3 years. Somebody said that we don't have cockroaches, we have palmetto bugs, and I'm like, palmetto bugs. I looked at them. I'm like, that's a freaking roach, and
Hmm.
and it flies too.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
that's
Jeez.
scary.
Flying roaches, yay!
The quality of this broadcast is just going up and up and up by just by the second here. Sorry about this.
The
So Rick, I'm gonna
James,
randomness. I love the
James is here.
randomness.
So
I
random.
I am going to move on. I wish you both well. It's almost 9 o'clock
You as
here
And
well.
he's
in
moving
beautiful.
on up,
Thank
moving
you so
on up.
much.
I am
I'm
forever
past.
grateful.
I'm past my intermittent fasting time, but that's okay.
Do you intermittent
Explain that.
fast? Oh,
Yeah,
Hmm?
I
please
do the same
explain
thing.
that before we go, because that's a nugget of gold. Go for it.
Wow, I do the same thing too. We got a few things in common there, Rick.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. My time is 12:30 in the afternoon till 8:30 at night.
Okay,
So 16 hours of no eating.
that's insanely good, and that's good for your body, right,
What do you
James?
do during the day though? Do coffee and drink lots of water, and do you do anything else, or what do you do to get through?
Just pretty much water.
No coffee?
I don't
Hi,
drink coffee.
Lisa Marie.
Oh,
I'm not a coffee. I don't do drugs, Michael. I don't do coffee. Coffee is drugs.
everybody's got a fix, Rick.
Somebody's been watching my broadcast, man. I
But
think
I do like chocolate, so I guess I'm a druggie then. I like
you
chocolate.
are that. You are
But do you like
technically.
dark chocolate or
Yeah.
do you like
I didn't used
milk?
to. I can't
It's
lactose
healthier for
intolerant.
you. It's the
I'm actually
healthier
lactose
chocolate.
intolerant.
James
No, I
James didn't watch that broadcast. We have to explain that. So someone said I don't do drugs, and he said, well, that's a lie.
Hey Lisa
And
Marie.
and he said, well, what do you mean? I said, do you drink coffee? He said, yes.
Right. Yeah.
And I said,
Caffeine is a drug.
do you eat sugar? Yes, I do. Do you eat chocolate? Well, then you're an addict. It depends on how bad. You're an
That
addict.
sounds so harsh.
Yeah.
It's just chocolate.
But that can be
I had a
addicting.
friend. I had a friend. I swear to you, he lived on two things: chocolate and coffee. That's
Yep.
it.
Oh, that's awful. That's
That's
horrible.
it.
But you know what though? As for males, actually,
Yes.
I think it might be universal with females too. But once you reach your 40s, which we all have,
Hmm.
we tend to become more lactose intolerant, right? And that's
And
just
why
the
is
way.
that? Why is that?
Yeah, why is that?
Because my wife was trying to explain it to me. You
Yeah.
know, sometimes it's funny because my wife would sometimes like think that I'm super interested in the technical aspects of everything, and I'm
She
like,
does watch your shit. Be careful.
no, I know, but she goes on sometimes. Oh my god, when I walk in sometimes and her friends are over, and usually they're all nurses, and they're just this. It's like they're doing
Oh,
shop talk.
wow.
It's like, oh my god, can we talk about something else? I don't want to hear what you did with so and so. With in the, you know what I mean? Like some of the stuff is
Our
don't want to hear
bodies
it.
aren't supposed. I don't know where you
No,
went.
but something breaks down.
You,
Anyways, back to something
you
breaks
are
down in
like
the
the
body. It becomes
OCD network within yourself. Okay, so
lactose intolerant.
yeah, we're back. Okay,
We're
so
back. We're
I'm
back.
now on cashew, oat milk, all
Almond
that
milk.
stuff,
Yeah.
almond milk, and I do notice a difference.
I don't even drink it anymore. I do like I don't. I cut out sugar years ago in my coffee. I do like my half and half though. I
You
just like
still realize you have not answered my question.
what's the question, sir?
You brought up the reasoning of when we get older, we
We all
become
become, yes,
right. Okay, we're
lactose
back.
intolerant.
We're back.
Lactose
We're back.
intolerant.
Yeah, why do you think? Because the body is not made to digest it?
Well, yes, there's certain things, and my wife has told me probably 100 times, and I
Hmm.
have not retained it, the technical terminology that she's told me. But
Joy,
yeah,
you're right. Squirrel.
s-
That's what.
squirrel. Something in our body breaks down or whatever, and we become lactose intolerant. A lot of us do. Not everybody, but a lot of us do. It's just like we shouldn't be drinking milk anyways. It's not after we're a
Yeah.
baby. I mean, we shouldn't
Yeah.
even go past.
Look what Ash Paul just wrote.
Yeah, we should. Yeah,
Yeah.
we shouldn't. Yeah.
So, Rick, when you bring things up that I did in another broadcast, are you kind of reminding me to be kinder? Like, what is the, or are you just poking the bear? Or is it a double-edged
Oh,
sword?
you know what my middle name is? Poke the bear.
Poke the
Poke the
bear.
bear.
Poke
But
the
he's
People
bear.
a
call me
subtle.
that.
See, Rick is very chill. So it's so funny because I notice he will do subtle, but you wouldn't even notice. It's like right now Rick could be enraged in complete anger,
And
and
people like
he would
that
look the
scare
same.
me. Yeah.
He looks the same, or he could
People
be
like that scare me.
completely,
They
yeah,
do. They're
completely
like,
jolly
no,
and
no,
happy and whatever. It's like
that's
the
okay.
same,
You go to sleep. Don't you worry. It's
right?
okay.
Yep.
Everything's perfect. We'll talk about it in the morning.
I've had friends say that to me about since I've been married. Since I'm married to a nurse, they're like, "Aren't you ever scared when if you piss off your wife?" I'm like, "Why? She's a nurse."
Yes. Think about
And
it.
my wife even said that. She's like, and I told that story like joking to my wife one time. Like, so and so said this to me. And they're like, "Well, then they're right. If I wanted to, I could slowly kill you." And then she's like, "Are you ready for dinner?" And I'm like, "Carry out, right? We're going out to dinner, right? To the restaurant, right?" "No, I made dinner for you. I'm
But
full. I'm good."
I can turn it on and off though. Like a customer will tick me off, blah blah blah. Da, 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 da. Okay, that's great. Okay, thanks. Have a nice day. Freaking idiot! What the heck? Bing, bing, bing. Hi, can I help you? Yeah.
I can't believe you just said that. That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Like
There's
I
also,
can't even imagine you breaking out in a rage at all.
well, have you
Yeah,
ever heard
you
that
don't want me
saying,
to.
don't make the quiet man angry? Have you
Right.
No,
ever,
it's true.
it's true,
It's
because
true.
you will get a year's worth of rage and the
There's
dam will
only a few
break.
people. Only a few people have seen me angry, and they were scared.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe that. I totally
Mel
believe that.
thinks it's like something to do with gut health is how we become lactose intolerant, and I think that's probably yeah, I think so. I think that's why
Okay.
also probiotics is good to incorporate as a supplement
Yeah,
into your diet as well.
I take that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
James, do you want to do a quick word game? Is Kevin open to a word game? Can we do
Who's
a word game
Kevin?
quickly?
Yeah. Who's Kevin?
Yeah, who's Kevin?
He's
Who's
right
Kevin?
here.
Kevin?
Kevin's here.
Who's Kevin?
You don't know Kevin?
Is that his
No, he's
imaginary friend?
Rick. It's
No,
Rick,
no, no, no. I know Rick.
Michael, and James. Who's Kevin?
Kevin's on my screen here.
Is there four? I only see three. Is there four people on the screen?
No, no, I have multiple screens, and Kevin's watching me right now.
But this is Rick's broadcast, I thought.
Okay, it's
All right,
it's like
fine. Let's go.
it's a code. I'll explain the code
All
later.
right, all right, let's go. All right,
Okay.
let's go. Let's play your game.
Yeah, we talked about this, and he had. It's all right.
All right, that's fine. Go
So
on.
so with certain individuals, I have certain names I use. One of them is Phoebe. If you hear Phoebe, you know. If I bring up jukebox,
Phoebe, isn't that smelly cat? Smelly
Really,
cat.
cat?
Smelly cat.
that
Okay, go
is
on.
also my daughter's first dog.
Smelly cat?
Sure. Okay.
Sure.
Kevin is like a safe word.
Gotcha. All right.
Brian's here.
What's up, Brian?
Hey, Brian.
Brian, play this game with me because they clearly are
I'm
more
ready.
worried about
I'm ready.
what. Okay. I'm just gonna breathe for a second here.
Whew, Michael,
Compa-
do you need a mint?
I do have one. I'll get one. Compassion, gentleness, sympathy, humanity. Which of those four words jumps out at you? Compassion, gentleness, sympathy, humanity.
Humanity.
Compassion.
And why? Why, Rick?
Humanity. Oh, sorry, go on.
Well, he went first, so let him answer.
Humanity right now, because of
Mm-hmm.
where we're at in society and
Yeah.
how I feel where I am in
Yeah.
society and globally, is I feel like um, what I
Rick,
care about more is more
look in the comments. Look at the name in the
worldly
comments.
and not
That's an
not
M words.
selfishly, right? The way
Do you
my
see
thinking
the name
process
Kevin?
now is,
Mm-hmm.
oh yes, I
Yes.
do. Yeah, I see him now. Oh,
Okay.
he's the one with the glasses.
Okay. I
Okay.
have the ability to know before words come up,
Like S and M words.
like S and M words, of course. Yes, and indeed. There we go. We're going into submission and bondage or whatever. Manipulation. Okay, so I'm glad that we went from
Did you see
compassion
my
to
Halloween costume?
Okay. Oh, squirrel. All right, squirrel. Um, Brian, what word would you? What the hell? See, humanity. See, I knew he'd play. He see some
Humanity, dude.
decent.
Because we got to think of the collective. That's the way.
Okay.
What's going on with the pandemic and the
Mhm.
situation isn't personal to just United States or just to China. It's globally. So that's why when you said humanity, I mean that's like where my brain is. It's how do we take care of the collective? How do we take care of the planet? I
Mhm.
don't. We got to stop being selfish. United States selfish. Russia selfish. China. We have to be take care of the planet. So
So
that's my
everybody that's in the comments, I want you to just focus on in your brain, in your mind's eye, a name, and write that name down, and we'll see if that name comes up. I got the name Paula and Peter.
I was thinking
Just a
Peter.
second. Yeah. So so that could be as simple as because he was thinking Peter, but I feel like there's a Peter right now watching on one of the platforms. I also felt Kevin watching before he actually came up.
Mine was
And,
Francesca.
sometimes, I'll see items like a house coat. Okay, we ready? Empathy. We're doing the word game again.
Oh, okay. 3 or 4 words.
Empathy, indifference, understanding, pity. You want them again? Empathy, indifference, understanding, pity. Which one are you most
Understanding.
drawn to?
Understanding.
Anybody in the chat or the replay can put it down as well.
Yep.
Same. Understanding for me too.
Understanding.
Pity. Okay.
Don't pity a fool. I pity the fool. Remember,
There's an old blues
Mr.
song
T.
called "I Pity the Fool That Falls in Love with You."
Yep.
Hmm.
Mr. T is still doing ads. I saw him the other day at a business. He was on their
Hmm.
board. Go on.
Do you want four more words, or are we going to end it?
Yeah, we could do. Let's end at 3. I like odd numbers instead of even. One more. One more
It
word
is
game.
Kevin. Kevin. Oh, okay, I'm not going there. All right.
What, George Harrison? Probably one of the best Beatles.
Kevin is one of these zingers. Do you know what a zinger is?
Yes.
There's no filter.
Yep.
You
Just
know the
don't
thing.
don't buy zingers and eat them. They're not healthy.
Okay.
I like empathy too, though. To be honest with you, but I didn't pick that because some people are literally incapable of feeling it, which blows my
True.
mind. But it's true.
Yep.
Explain.
Like a
There's some people
psycho.
that they literally have no empathy. They don't
Yeah.
So,
care.
are you talking about
Serial killers.
like
There's some,
narcissistic people?
lots of type of people. Could be
Yeah.
that. Could be
So
psychopaths, like you
Dexter.
said.
Yeah,
I
like
I,
Dexter.
I
Yeah.
want to bring something up
Isn't
that's
Dexter having a new series? Somebody was telling me he's like in a
My
absolutely.
niece is
Yes.
binge watching that right now.
Brian,
Yeah.
Brian, who's here? I know he'll play the game. Okay, here we go.
Already out.
Here we go.
Hold on, real
Tenderness.
fast, real fast. We're doing a commercial break. This is brought to you by Amstel Light. If you got it, you got it. Drink up. All right, go on, Michael. That was for Brian.
Do you still have the manscaping ad that you do?
That's for another broadcast. So let's
Okay,
respect
sorry.
Rick's broadcast.
Okay, wrong network. Sorry about that, sir. All the affiliates here, we're so sorry.
We don't want to lose his sponsorship.
No, we lost our way. Are we doing 4 or 3? Which one do you guys like better? Tell us what you want. 3 or 4 words. Which is better?
Give us
for you
4.
Guys? 4 again? 4
Yeah.
feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Tenderness, change, tolerance, courage.
Ooh.
Tenderness, change, tolerance, courage.
I gotta
Which
go
word
with
are you
Wizard
drawn
of
to?
Oz. Courage. The Wizard of Oz. Courage. I need courage. I love courage.
I go tolerance. Tolerance for me.
You know what I
Tolerance is my
love?
second.
I love change. I love people who embrace change. I love people who are fearless, who show the essence of themselves every day, go out on, like what.
But courage and change can be the same word, really, because change is constant, and if you realize that, then you have to adapt because life is continuously changing, and if you're not good with change, you're
Mhm.
going to fall back and you're going to get left behind. And courage is the same kind of with change because courage, if you have courage, you can have courage to do anything. And courage could be adapting to change. You
Mhm.
have the courage to adapt to change. So courage and change to me are kind of related.
I think you're
Like
overamping.
tolerating change.
You could tolerate change. You could tolerate people too. You
Listen,
could tolerate the people at your
you're
Thanksgiving
tolerating
dinner this
us.
year.
Listen, he's tolerating us right now. Yeah.
Ooh, I don't
I
know,
like you
Michael.
guys.
Who is
Do you really?
tolerating
Listen,
us? Who is
I would not
tolerating
want.
us?
There's no other 3 guys I want to, or 2 guys I want to hang out with on apps besides you guys.
Well,
Well,
Donkashane.
I would
So
love
far,
sometime
anyway.
in the future. I'd love for you to invite Kevin up sometime, but I don't know if you can handle him. He's straight from the hip. I really like him.
Wait, is he the new guy that you just started the other past few days? He wears
Yeah,
glasses, like
he
shaved, and
is
a baseball cap.
dynamite. He ate a bagel this morning. Was it this morning? I
Oh
don't know. He
wait,
ate a
he's been
bagel.
in the music industry for 30
Yes,
plus years. I know who you're talking about. I know who you're
He
talking
yes,
was
about.
on with
Okay.
the he was on with the other Christian guy,
Yeah.
True Seeker, this morning. I think.
yeah. And he was drinking iced tea,
Yeah.
leaf
I know who you're
iced
talking
tea or
about.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
actually,
so do you guys like the word games? You
he's an
should do
interesting
Christian
dude.
word
He's an
games.
interesting dude.
I think that would be cool.
Christian word games.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
too.
And
Because it
words
doesn't have to
maybe
be
people don't
Christian.
understand.
It helps people engage in conversation. It helps them think too when you do these word games.
Hmm.
I like that. Right?
Yeah.
Because you can add to it. You can say 4 words and you
Hmm.
can have people in the chat participating along with the people in your broadcast. And then once you say the words that people are talking about, then you can say what made you think of that word, and then how does that word relate to now, like to
It
society.
also works for you, buddy, if you were to do things that were for exercise, for
Oh,
word
of
said,
course. It could, yeah.
or motivation. But I
Uh-huh.
was thinking Christian because there are a lot of words in the Bible that most people don't understand.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Don't
And
you
it
do
might
that,
be a
Rick?
way to
I've watched your
educate
broadcast.
them.
Don't you pick up words in the Bible and then kind of talk about them?
So the Bible parts, there's 2 different things. There's the second part is I just literally read like a chapter and that's it. I
Hmm.
don't really talk
I've seen
about it.
that. Yeah.
So I first sing. I always start off singing. Then I do a scripture thought, which I post before I go to bed every night.
Yeah.
I actually have like a big Word document from 2008 to 2011. I used to email these out every day, and I'm just kind of recycling it now. So, and I do the scripture thought. So it's just one verse, and then what I have to think about, or will say about the verse, and then that can turn into like, could be like a minute, or could turn into 20 minutes or half an hour. It depends, however the Spirit leads. But yeah,
So, anybody who's in my network who watches this later, I have to go, guys. Please
I
support
gotta eat.
Rick if you can.
Appreciate
Um,
that.
everybody knows James. Everybody knows me.
Nobody knows me. I don't even have
Listen,
20 followers.
there are people right now watching your video, sweating and having impure thoughts. I
Oh,
guarantee it.
stop. Did you forget
There
it's
you go.
Rick's broadcast? Come on, clean it up, Michael. Clean it up.
I'm leaving on that.
James
That's
is like Cheers. James is like Cheers.
repeat,
Everybody knows his name.
repeat, rinse and repeat. No, okay.
Oh,
All right.
jeez.
I wish you well. Thank
Bueller.
you.
Bueller.
Thank you so
Right.
much.
Bueller.
Bye, Michael.
Bye bye.
Thanks
I'll
for
see-
coming, guys.
All right.
See you, James.
I learned to do it the opposite way because in the broadcast, if I'm going this way, right? If I go